Yo, everybody, welcome to Computing Concepts in Practice. I just wanted to let you know that today I'm going to teach you how to format a FortiGate router and then how to reinstall the operating system. That is very important because I found myself in a dilemma last week. We got this Fortinet devices. Then I decided to format it. Then in trying to find out the operating system to reinstall this, it was a pain. So I knew that there are a lot of people out there that possibly had faced something like that. That's why I decided to make this video to assist anyone that has faced such a dilemma so that it might be of help for you. So this is a Fortinet FortiGate router. This is a very powerful router / firewall. This is the USB management port over there. Then we have the USB ports. Then we have the console port. And then we have the 1211. And then we have DMZ, and then we have the management port. And then we have H1 and H2 ports, and then the rest are just for the LANs. You can also program them maybe into different VLANs that you can use for different purposes. So today, the ports that we're going to be using, the 2 ports that we're going to be using for this lab include the console port, and then we'll also be using the management port. Usually by default, this is the port that will give out DHCP address to your PC so that where you're going to have the Tftp server installed. So it will give an IP address, or you can also assign your IP address statically. So we're going to look into that. So I'm going to connect my cables. So remember, you have to connect your console cable. So my console cable is here. So I'll connect it to the console port. And then remember, you need one cord from your router to your computer. So this is the Ethernet cord, and this is going to the management port. Remember, the purpose of this is for the TFTP server to be able to be contacted to your computer to your computer. So the TFTP server setup that is here will be able to assign an IP address to your computer. Okay, so that's the reason. So you have to be on the management port. So I'm going to now power it on. Okay. So while it powers on, I'm going to now share my screen to show you what we're going to be doing, the steps we are going to follow. Okay, so how to reinstall / upgrade the OS on Fortinet FortiGate routers / firewalls. First, you need to obtain the OS from a trusted source and usually from the vendor. For example, in this case, it's going to be from Fortinet. But you have to understand that you have to purchase the device from them and have some registration keys that you're going to be using on their cloud platform. Else, you will not be able to download the OS. So the OS that I downloaded is from an open source. I included the website in my description so that you can be able to follow and download the same thing if you want. Okay. So first, I already did the first two. I connect your console cable to the device. And before you remember, we need these things. We need a TFTP PD64, this is the name of the TFTP server, okay? Then we need putty. Putty will allow us to connect the console to the router, okay? And then we have the console cable and then your OS, okay? So next, power on the device and connect it using the putty. So I'm now going to connect to my Photogate router with putty. So putty is over here. So all right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is follow the instructions to format. So let's reboot this device, the router. So I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on. When it starts, it's going to prompt you to like press any key. You see, press any key to display the configuration menu. So this will allow us to format it. So we press F and then yes, Y, and then you can format. Now, format boot device completed. So that's the first step. So the next step that we're going to do is, what is the next step? Make sure to connect an Ethernet cord to the port on the router label management. We've done that as well. So the next one is make sure your PC is configured to receive IP addresses through GCP. Okay. Or if you also want, you can configure the IP address statically if you want, but that is if you know the IP block. Now we can find out what the IP block of this router is. So what we can do now is to review the TFTP parameters. So we can press R and then you can see that our TFTP server IP parameters is 192.168.1. You know, the block is .1, okay? And then one thing we can also do is we can go back Q and okay, now that it came back this way, we cannot be able to do anything else unless we restart our FortiGate. So what I'm going to do next is go into my PC as we talked about so that I can assign an IP address to the LAN port. So device options and then right click on the Ethernet port and then properties, then okay, but I like to assign mine an static IP address to it. So in this case, I'm going to assign 192.168.1. Since I already know it's a one block, I can give it any number. So I can give it a .3, you know, and 2555. So the same thing. So gateway, I don't want to assign that. It's okay. And okay, perfect. So now that we have this configured, the next thing that we need to do in our instruction is to ensure the TFTP server is mapped to the directory. So let's open our TFTP server. This is our TFTP server. What that meant is you have to, the server interface is you have to look on your Ethernet adapters and NICs, and then make sure that the one that you assign a .3, that is the path linking to the router. Then you also select the path where you're going to be picking up your operating system from. So let's talk about downloading the operating system. So if you go down to the resources list, you're going to see that I have a link for TFTP. So if I visit this link, so you'll be able to download your TFTP server. So we'll go to the download page. This will allow you to download your TFTP server. So any of them that you want, you can download, okay? But this is how it's going to look like when you open it. Okay, secondly, let's look at where can we download the FortiGate software. So I got my software. This is from an open source. So I'm going to show you. Where this is the path. So I'm going to copy that so that I can show you where you can download your free Fortinet open source operating system. So you see that this website allows you to download, look at all the different FortiGate operating system, but the one that I want to download is my version is a FortiGate Fortinet 100D. So I'm going all the way to the 100 color. So that means any type of FortiGate that you have, you can download the operating system from here. So 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 80, 80, 90. Okay, this is 100D. So these are all the different versions of 100D. So we can download any of these, okay? But mind you, I already have a version of downloads. I already have two versions downloaded. So I'm going to copy that's the 5.0 version, 5.2.12 version. And I'm going to copy that and then go back to your TFTP server. Remember, you want to go into this path here and then paste the operating system in there. So I'm going to open the directory or browser directory. Sorry. So I like to do it there. Go to the C, then programs, program files, then look for your TFTP D60 and then paste your operating system here. Yep, continue. So refresh, and there you go. I have it in here. So what I'm going back to do next is, okay, now this path is set up and it's ready, okay? So you can minimize this. So the next thing is ensure the TFTP is mapped there. We've done that right now. So ensure you are selecting a NIC respondent. That's the same thing we've done, configuration we've done on the TFTP. So this is the NIC that's corresponding to the TFTP server on the router. And this is the directory. That's perfect. We can show dir and we can see that we have our operating system here. So I can copy it because I'm going to go to the router and do some configuration as well. So now we have up to step 7 done. Now configure TFTP server after the router and initiate the transfer. Okay. So now everything else we're going to do now is going to be done on the router. So we're going to go to putty. And I'm going to restart the router. And then please, once it boots, just make sure that you press any key when it prompts you to, so that you can be able to, yep, I have it now. So I'm going to now go to first configure, C to configure. So I'm going to set two things over here. So one of them is to set up the DHCP mode, which is D. I want to enable DHCP. So this will allow the router to be able to give up a DHCP address to any TFTP client that is connected. So in this case, I'm going to press 1 to enable that. So that is enabled now. And the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the remote TFTP server, which is T. So press T. So the remote TFTP server is your client. So if you see here, the IP address I assign is .3, 192.168.1.3. So I'm going to enter that in here, 192.168.1.3, and press enter. So that has been set. Now the next thing that we need to configure, I am looking is the firmware file F. So F. So this will allow us a chance to now paste the file in the directory. So remember the operating system, we need to copy that here and then paste it out over here under the T option, T to set the remote TFTP IP address. So now that we have that copied and pasted, I'll just press enter. So now that is done now. So the next thing that we are going to do is to review the TFTP parameters to see what we have over there. And you can see that we have the TFTP server, which is our client, is IP addresses there, and the operating system also added. Okay. So now that we have this configured and it's ready to go, I can press Q to bring us back. Then I'm going to initiate the TFTP firmware transfer process. So let me bring this up, and I'm going to hit T to transfer and just wait. So the moment I hit to transfer and the process began, I lost my internet connection. So I'm proceeding with the video with this. So as you can see, the transfer was successful, and then it's in here saying that save default firmware backup, run image without saving DR. So I want it to be default. So press D. So press D on here. So press D, and then there you go. It's beginning the operating system reinstallation process. Process is complete. You can see that it's saying that login. So I'm going to click on login. So press the default password for going into Fortinet is admin, all lowercase. Okay, and the password is empty, and you can see it's saying welcome. So this means that our operating system install process was complete. So we did not miss much. I think this was where we got to, where it says please connect TFTP server, and then the moment I hit enter, the initiating firmware TFTP transfer began, and as a result I lost my internet connection, so I could not continue the recording. But as you can see, the only other thing it did was it prompted me to enter this IP address 192.168.1.188. This is the router's default TFTP address, DHCP address. So then I entered that 192.168.1.188, and then the process began. And then you can see once the transfer was complete, it's saying that save as default firmware / backup firmware, run image without saving. I just make it a D as a default. Okay, press a D and then it will install as a default for you. Then everything else was just by itself done, and then it prompted you to be able to log in. So I indicated admin as the username, and the password was just empty. Just press enter, and then it says welcome. So now our router firmware has been reinstalled, the operating system has been reinstalled, and everything is all good. If this video was very helpful for you to navigate where to find the operating system, and how to install it, what you need to do, please press the like button and then hit the subscribe as well. And I definitely look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.